Hey, what's up, everybody? I want to welcome you to another episode of the Dreamers Pro Daily Recap, where we give you a recap of all of the hot topics that we covered that day. You can catch them in their long format and also catch it fully streaming for free on Apple Podcasts. Okay, let's talk about it. So, I haven't spent much of any time talking about the Clippers this season. I think I said before why I decided not to do that, but I'm going to reiterate it maybe for the people that didn't hear me say it. I didn't talk about the Clippers for a few reasons. Number one, I've been one of the people that's been jumping out the window over the last 5 years for the Clippers, right? I was jumping out the window in 2019, 2020 season talking about they was going to win the championship. I was wrong, of course. The Lakers won the championship. The next year, I think I came back on my nonsense, and then Kawhi got hurt. And I think 2 seasons ago, Kawhi Leonard got healthy. He had those 2 beast mode games in the first 2 games against the Phoenix Suns on the road. And I was out there screaming and hollering, oh, go Kawhi, go Kawhi. And then obviously he got hurt. And then last season was just some more disappointment, right? And he got hurt again. And I'm like, how long can I go through this? Right? How long can I go through this? And people then roasted and toasted me in the comments literally for years. So I said this year I'm going to learn my lesson. I'm not going to say nothing. I'm going to wait for these guys to go through the season. I didn't expect much at various points in the season. And let's be honest, the way the Clippers played at various points in the season, they didn't deserve for people to expect much from them. And they will admit as much. But somehow, some way, Kawhi was able to come back. He was able to round off into tip-top shape to the point where now it led up to the Clippers winning 7 games in a row to close out the season. And they were going into the final game of the season, and looking at their schedule, they had to win all the way towards the end. And I'm like, man, this is like, they got to do it, but they had no choice. So they go into yesterday's game against the Golden State Warriors, who were a team that was also desperate. And it was literally the last game of the season that was being played. So I know the entire NBA world was watching it. And I was watching the game. And over the years of being somebody that would rage during basketball games, I used to do it a lot with the Lakers when Kobe was playing. And then after that, I was like, over some years, I'm like, I got to be able to control my emotions. I cannot get this emotionally invested into something where I can't even be in the same room with other people because my emotions are just running wild. So over time, I've learned to be able to corral my emotions, but nevertheless, I was into that game. And in the second half, I really started getting into it, right? Because it was a tug of war, and the Clippers will go up, and then the Warriors will go up, and I saw myself sitting on the couch, just like, man, and I'm like, oh my God, this is happening to me. Kawhi Leonard has an opportunity to win the game. Draymond plays solid defense on him. He misses the game-winning shot. They go into the OT. And then James Harden took over the game. He took over the game, and the Clippers ended up being victorious. And it was a big sigh of relief for me. And I think after that game, watching the Clippers win their 8th game in a row, going 9 out of their last 10, I think 18 out of their last or 15 out of their last 18 games. Oh, no, yeah, they won or something like that. I think they put the entire NBA world on notice. Okay, so let's get into the box score yesterday, because it was a pretty crazy one. These guys put up some good numbers in that game. So the Clippers ended up beating the Golden State Warriors, I believe, 124 to 119. But the game was very, very close, obviously. In the game, Norman Powell didn't play so well. He only shot 30% from the field. He gave 11. Kawhi shot 65% from the field, 50% from 3. 60% from the free throw line, scoring 33 points. Ivica Zubac had 22 and 17. We need to give a moment and pay some respect to Ivica Zubac. Ivica Zubac has developed so much as an NBA player that now he's one of the top 5 big men, 7 big men in the entire NBA. And I think his play this season has given the Clippers a different complexion, right? He is a legitimate presence in the middle, right? So shout out to him. Chris Dunn played well, although he had some boneheaded plays, but nevertheless, when he did shoot the ball, he was extremely efficient. He shot 100% from the 3, hit all 3 of his 3-point shots, hit all of his field goals. He had 11 points with 6 assists. James Harden, 39 points on 56% shooting from the field, 62% from the three, 89% from the three-point line, while getting you 7 rebounds and 10 assists, although he has 6 turnovers, and some of those turnovers were careless, but nevertheless, he had a monster game. And as I was watching that game, I'm saying to myself, this team really meshes together. And I'll say something else that I was thinking about, and I'm going to say it now. You remember when people were hollering and screaming about the Clippers making a decision about Paul George? Oh, should they keep him? Should they keep? I was like, Paul George got to go. Look, at the end of last season, it became crystal clear to me that out of those 4 guys, with Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, Russell Westbrook, and James Harden, the 2 that needed to go, because I said they had to break him. If you remember, I said they got to break up this core. If you remember, they got to break him up. And the 2 guys that needed to go was Paul George and Russell Westbrook. I'm going to tell you why. One, Russell Westbrook can be unreliable and make some boneheaded plays, as you saw. He can be good. He can give you a lot of energy. He can make hustle plays. I get that. But at times he can just, you'll make a play and you be all sitting there looking like, wait, did this just happen? You need to look no further than that what is it? That play that he had when he missed the layup and then fouled the 3-point shooter. So you got that. Paul George needed to go because Paul George was extremely unreliable in the playoffs. Extremely. Even if he was healthy, he would be extremely unreliable. But now looking at what his season became when he went to Philly, chasing that bag, you see that if they had kept Paul George, it would have been a total disaster. So number one, Kawhi Leonard and James Harden really play well off of each other. That's number one. Number 2, James Harden was an all-NBA caliber player. Kawhi Leonard, who his numbers this season are quite deceptive, because if you look at his season averages, he's averaging 21 points per game, 21 and a half points per game on 50% shooting from the field, 41% shooting from the three, and 21% shooting from the free throw line. You look at him, you're like, well, he only is a 50. What is it? He's only a 21 point per game scorer. Like, what's so impressive about that? Those numbers would be very deceptive. Let me give you Kawhi Leonard's actual numbers. Okay. In the month of March, he averaged 25.5 points per game, 25.2 on 52% shooting from the field, 40% shooting from three, 82.5% shooting from the free throw line, while getting 7.4 rebounds, 3.4 assists, and 1.8 steals. Those were his averages in March in 13 games. In April, he's averaging 26.7 points per game on 54% shooting from the field, 50% shooting from the three, 86% shooting from the free throw line, while getting you 6.3 rebounds, 3.7 assists, 2.2 steals, and 1.7 turnovers. So essentially, what the Clippers have is 2 all-NBA players in disguise. It's hard to see because if you look at Kawhi's averages, but if you look at him over the last month and a half, he's an all-NBA player, and James Harden was an all-star, and he might make an all-NBA team. So they have 2 bona fide guys. You have arguably the most improved player in the NBA of the year in Victor Zubac, and a defensive player of the year candidate. And if you look at their numbers, in terms of their team stats, they're solid. Number one, the Clippers are a much improved defense thanks to the addition of Jeff Van Gundy on the bench. This year, if you look at their rating, they're number what? They're the number third. No, excuse me. They're the number. Where is it? Why can't I find it? They're the number. I think they're the number third defensive rated team in the NBA and the number 14th. But over this last month or so, they've had the number 1 offense in the NBA. So the Clippers are a really, really, really good team. And going into this series against the Nuggets, I feel good about it for 2 reasons. Well, a few reasons. Number one, Paul George isn't there. If you go back to that 3-1 series blow up that they had when they blew that series, Kawhi Leonard played fantastic for 6 of the games. Paul George was just a disaster. And what ended up happening in Game 7 was Kawhi finally had a bad game from carrying Paul George's ass. And then Paul George had another bad game, hence they lost. So Paul George is no longer part of the equation, number one. Number 2, they have a better coach in Ty Lue who's able to make adjustments, unlike what was being said about Doc Rivers there. Number 3, they're a much improved defensive team. Number 4, you look at the fact that the Denver Nuggets are going through a coaching transition at the coaching position. So this Clippers team, I'm picking them to beat the Nuggets. And I think that looking at how they've been playing over the last month or so, they put the entire league on notice. You forget the Clippers went into Golden State and won that game. They went into Oakland and won that game. So I'm very, very high on the Clippers. And I look forward to great things taking place this year as they go into the playoffs. Over the weekend, we had a pretty strange one because LeBron was once again in the news, but this time it was because of some comments that were made by NBA legend Isaiah Thomas, right? Top 75, I think 2-time champion Isaiah Thomas, where he was essentially on an NBA TV telecast and they were covering the Lakers. I think this was before they played, I forgot who they were playing, and LeBron was shooting, right? I think in an empty gymnasium, and he was shirtless. And on the panel, it was himself, Steve Smith, and Jalen Rose. And for whatever reason, Isaiah Thomas just got triggered by LeBron being shirtless, and he went on a tirade. A tirade that sent ripples all throughout the corridors of the NBA community. So for those of you who don't remember what Isaiah said, I want to quickly play it for you now. And then we're going to come back and continue with the show. Take a listen to what Isaiah Thomas said originally about LeBron James here. Take a listen to that.
Second part of our doubleheader tonight. LeBron James going to play the game like this. Shirts and skins is what they're doing tonight.
I just totally 100% object to this. And if I was the GM or coach,
me too.
I would never let one of my players walk out on the floor looking like this. I mean, we are a professional NBA league. We ain't summer league. We ain't, you know, at the YMCA.
Listen, I think coaches got to go back to suits.
Absolutely.
I just mean.
Absolutely. You know, I just think.
College and pro.
I just think the professionalism in our NBA league has diminished so much. And I look, I like LeBron. I'm a fan of his, so forth and so on. But to walk out on the floor before a game with no shirt on and shoot, I mean, come on, man. Where we at? What we doing? Where we at? Now, if you want to, Adam Silver, if you want to find somebody, find that. Put a fine on that.
Spoken by the Hall of Famer and the greatest player in Pistons history, Isaiah Thomas.
Fantastic. So when he said that, we all kind of reacted to it. I said I didn't think it was a big deal, to be quite honest with you, because I've noticed LeBron without a shirt, so it wasn't like a shock to my system. And a lot of people were like, look, there's nobody in the arena, so what's the big issue there, right? A lot of people, frankly, disagreed with Isaiah Thomas. So I woke up this morning, we're just going through the internet looking for what to discuss, and I came across a pretty interesting article from Basketball Network, and it said, it has the following headline: when hockey dress better than the NBA, it's a problem. Ron Harper, Eddie Johnson call out LeBron for warming up shirtless. And I said to myself, I said, like what is going on here? Okay, so let's get into what Ron Harper had to say on his on his Twitter account. Let's put up the post. He says, no more rules and dress code for anything. When hockey dress better than the NBA, it's a problem. And this was published on April 12th, and it got 199,000 views. Now, I want to quickly read what the article had to say there. It says, though no player past or present has ever questioned LeBron's dedication and relentless drive to be the best, a recent pregame moment sparked debate about his professionalism. The 4-time MVP was seen casually warming up shirtless and wearing a do-rag before a game against the Houston Rockets, drawing harsh criticism from Isaiah Thomas. The Detroit Pistons legend condemned the 40-year-old forward's demeanor, claiming it showed a level of disrespect towards the fans and the league. He even called for Adam Silver to fine him for his behavior. Eddie Johnson also echoed Harper's and Zeke's sentiments, arguing that NBA athletes should only appear to wear team-issued gear during or before the game. It is not a matter of style or fashion. It's about setting a professional standard for fans watching the game. He then wrote, I 100% agree with Isaiah. I've been saying this, I've been saying for years that sports has lost this aspect of how we send messages to individuals who desire to make, coach, GM, own a team. Players wearing anything outside team gear before a game is wrong. He also added, players should not be wearing Mickey Mouse headphones, and coaches and GMs should be wearing suits and not be wearing warm-ups either during games. There are levels of how we view each position that has been erased. The phrase dress for success has been eliminated, he added. Okay, so what are my thoughts about this? Okay, first of all, let's address the LeBron shirtless thing. I don't think it was a big deal because, again, as I said at the beginning of this show, or this segment rather, I've seen LeBron shirtless many times working out, so I wasn't shocked by it. And I don't think most people thought anything of it seeing him shirtless, right? So you have that aspect of it. So I don't know why all of a sudden was something that he noticed now. The second thing in terms of the professionalism, the way the NBA players play and all of that, look, I think that this is all deliberate. Okay, I think that this is clearly the direction the league wants to go, and I think it's something that Adam Silver 100% co-signed. And I think that they want to give off this appearance of being younger, right? To appeal to younger fans, hence making it a little bit more approachable. Okay, you look at guys on television. Customarily, they wear suits and dress shirts and all of that. But as time has gone on, you see guys wearing sweaters, a little bit more casual. And I think that they may be doing that to maybe, again, be viewed as something that's a little bit more approachable, probably. Some people can argue that some of the professionalism is gone. No problem. I mean, you look at us here, I'm not going to wear a suit or whatever because I just don't wear suits like that in my everyday life. So I wouldn't start dressing like that. I do understand that you have to dress professionally. I try to do that to a certain extent on the show here. I'm not going to wear fitted or nothing like that. Not that there's anything wrong with that. If you want to wear fitted, wear fitted. If you want to wear a do-rag, wear a do-rag. If you want to wear a hoodie, wear a hoodie. Do whatever makes you feel comfortable. I kind of know where it sits with me, where, okay, I can wear this, dress like this, and then that's as far as I'm willing to go, right? But I think it's just, I think they're just trying to appeal to a younger audience, man. And young people don't be suited and booted. Right? They don't be suited and booted like that unless they got to go somewhere important. Other than that, people are chilling, right? So, I'm not a LeBron supporter in any way, shape, or form, but I feel like they're going a little bit too far with this, attacking him for this, because I don't really think it's a big issue. Not the Clippers, the Lake. Let me first of all say this for all these people that may be watching pissed off. Let me say it now. First of all, congratulations to JJ Redick. He had a better campaign than I expected, that some people expected. The Lakers finished the season with the number 3 record. I did not see that happening. Congratulations to JJ Redick. He found a way to make it work. LeBron James, congratulations to him for being able to make it work with Luka Doncic. I certainly didn't expect that to be the case as well. So I'm going to give my congratulations to them, because I know there's some people won't say it. I said it. Now, let me say this as well. That don't change a damn thing. I still don't like JJ Redick. And I'm still not a fan of LeBron James. I'm going to give him his props, but I'm still not a fan of JJ Redick because of the crazy stuff he be saying about players and eras of the past. That's why I stand. I'm giving him his credit. My opinions on him have not changed from that position at all, and they won't. So let's get into what's happening. The Lakers surprised a lot of people this season, and they're now the number 3 seed in the Western Conference. And in the first round, they're going to be playing against the Minnesota Timberwolves, right? Which is a matchup that I think a lot of people are picking in the favor of the Lakers. Now, I'm not exactly sure why. Maybe some people have spent more time analyzing these two teams. I haven't. But I guess when I spend some time, I'll then come to a conclusion, although I do think that it will be more competitive than the way people are trying to make it out to be, right? So you have that there. But nevertheless, a lot of people feel like the Lakers are going to do very well. Now, one person that has been going viral weekly for the torcation that he's been doing is none other than Shannon Sharpe himself. And given the fact that yesterday was the last day of the season, which means that on Monday, which is today, they're going to come on TV to talk about what took place and what's going to happen in the playoffs. They brought on none other than Shannon Sharpe himself to talk about the Lakers, of course. And the question was simply this to the panel. Which of these two teams do you think are going to be a bigger threat in the Western Conference? The Clippers or the Lakers? And folks, let me tell y'all, Shannon Sharpe did not disappoint. You would have thought Luke walked in the building the way he was twerking it up. For those of you who didn't hear what Shannon Sharpe had to say, take a listen to him here.
Jay, which LA team should the West fear more?
The Lakers. Which team has Luka, LeBron, and AR? And when you look at Luka Doncic, he has the second highest scoring average in postseason in NBA history, right behind a guy named Michael Jeffrey Jordan. And I know you love him, Stephen A. And you got a guy that's number 3 or 4 in playoff scoring average in GOAT James. So just imagine, let's just say for the sake of argument, and that's what we do occasionally, Stephen A. We argue here on First Take. And what if I were to tell you that your third best player on most nights might be GOAT James? A man that has 42,000 points. A man that's been to 10 NBA finals. I'm telling you, as I sit here before you in the congregation, and I'm letting everybody know that the third best player on a given night might be GOAT James. What you gonna do with that? Y'all know AR got a bag. He's gotten better and better and better every single year. I defy anybody to tell me that he has not. And we know what Luka did. You saw when he went back to Houston. You saw what when he went back to Dallas. You saw what he did to the Rockets. And I know, and what you call him, had to throw him out that game, we had some for OKC because when they threw him out, we had to lead. I don't care what you thought, Shelly, it was still 7 minutes to go in the ball game. We had to lead in your building. Now, you remember just the night before we dropped them by 27. You remember that, right, Stephen A? So for me, and I know Kawhi's playing well. Congratulations, he seems healthy, he's playing well. James Harden should be an all-NBA selection. But if you asking me, it ain't even close. It ain't even close. Well, let me take that back, guys. Before I turn over to you, Stephen A. or Marcus, it's close. It's close like L.A. to San Francisco. They're in the same state, but you ain't really trying to walk, are you? That's what I thought. Go ahead. Look at them.
Go ahead, Eminem.
So you heard what Shannon Sharpe had to say. Shannon don't disappoint, man. Son does not disappoint when he be coming to talking about the Lakers winning and Lakers in 5 and all of that. And Shannon needs to give some credit to that dude that came up with that. That whole Lakers in 5 thing, obviously Shannon saying it, but it was a clip that went viral of somebody that put together a bunch of compilations of Shannon Sharpe saying Lakers in 5 when he was on Undisputed. And it went viral. And I think Shannon Sharpe saw it and then started doing it. You need to give that dude some credit. That dude was the one that made that clip go viral. But anyway, what are my thoughts about what Shannon said, apart from the twerking? Do I think the Lakers are a threat to come out of the West? Yes, I do. I think if the Lakers ended up playing the Denver Nuggets in round 1, it would not have surprised me if the Lakers won that series. It would not have surprised me. I think the Lakers are a live threat. I think they can beat teams. And I think they're dangerous. However, I think there are other teams that could be dangerous as well. OKC is one of them. I think Houston is a dangerous team. I think the Clippers are a dangerous team, right? So I don't think the Lakers are the only threat the way he likes to make it seem. Now, that's one thing. The second thing I got to say, and shout out to Ticket TV because he brought it up. A lot of you Laker fans have been twerking it up a lot. Not a lot of you Laker, but a lot of Bron fans been twerking it up in the corner a lot because y'all realize you're going to be playing against the Wolves. Y'all been really, really happy about that, huh? For as confident as you guys try to make yourselves out to be, oh man, we're going to beat them, we're going to beat them, we're going to run down on you. Y'all really happy about that? You heard Shane, y'all really happy about the path y'all taking to victory this year in the playoffs, right? I noticed that. Y'all really happy about. They were talking about, the Clippers was dodging the Lakers a few years ago. Now all of a sudden, y'all looking mighty, mighty happy. Look, Shannon should show his enthusiasm, but I think sometimes he takes it a little too far with the twerking, and I'm gonna tell you why. He twerks so much that sometimes it impairs him from being able to give you a substantive take on things. And I think that's where sometimes it just becomes a little bit too messy. It's like, okay, bro, I get it. You like LeBron, you like that. I get all of that. But can you give us an actually robust analysis about what you're seeing here, right? But he had to twerk it up in this occasion. Look, I think the Lakers are going to be dangerous. I think that the Western Conference is not going to be as straightforward as a lot of people see it. I think a number of teams can come out of the West. I think the Clippers can come out of the West. I think the Lakers could potentially come out the West. Obviously, I think OKC can come out the West. And I think that the Rockets are a real team. The Rockets are a really good team. Now, obviously, offensively, they do struggle, but they do have a very, very good team nonetheless. I think it's going to be a very, very interesting round one matchup in the playoffs. But I also want to say this real quick, because usually the Eastern Conference playoffs are usually very, very, very boring. But I do want to quickly say this as an aside. I'm very, very interested about the Eastern Conference this year. I'm going to tell you some series I'm super hyped for. Number one, I am dumb hype for the Knicks versus Pistons series. I think that's going to be a very, very good series. That's the number one series right now I'm looking out for in the Eastern Conference. I think the Bucks Pacers may be interesting, but that Knicks versus Pistons series, I think is going to be must-see TV with Isaiah and them guys down there and Jalen Brunson. I think that's going to be must-see TV. In the Western Conference, obviously, is going to be interesting every single series. We don't have the 8th and 7th seed locked up yet. If the Golden State Warriors are the 7th seed, they're going to be playing the Rockets. If they're the 8th seed, they're going to be playing the Thunder. You guys get that. So I think it's going to be a very, very interesting playoff run. But in the midst of this, we must never forget that Shannon is always ready to twerk it up. We're going to talk about the Clippers because we haven't talked about them in a while, but now is the appropriate time to talk about them. I said that I will talk about the Clippers when they gave us all a reason to talk about them, and they're playing well and all of that. Kawhi Leonard is looking healthy, and this moment has arrived. So therefore, get the hell out the way and let me go ahead and talk about the Clippers. I don't want to hear nobody complaining about nothing. All right, I don't want to hear y'all talking about, oh man, you hyping up Kawhi and all of that. First, y'all be complaining I'll be talking about LeBron too much. Now I'm talking about this. Please let me live, son. Let me live. So let's get into this. So yesterday there was a mega game that went down between the Golden State Warriors and the Clippers. It was one of the few games this season where I really was like emotionally invested to it, to the point where I was like, when the Clippers missed the shot, I'm like, damn. When the Warriors made a shot, I'm like, oh my God, like it was one of those things, right? And I try not to do that because sports can have you in there breaking stuff in your house and all that kind of stuff, right? But it was a very close game, nip and tuck. But ultimately, the Clippers were able to come away victorious with a 124-119 victory. James Harden was a man possessed. He had 36 points. No, was it 36 or 39 points? I think 10 assists or something like that. Kawhi had 33 points in the game. He shot over 50, 60% from the field, which is crazy stuff. Ivica Zubac had a double-double with 17 rebounds. It was crazy stuff, right? Very, very important game. And with that game, the Clippers now punched their ticket to the 5th seed to ensure that they play against the 4th seed and the Denver Nuggets in round one. And they're going to be starting that series off on the road. But prior to that, one of the biggest critics of Kawhi Leonard for the last few years has been none other than Stephen A. Smith, right? Stephen A. Smith has not hid his feelings about Kawhi, and he has gone off on him at every opportunity that he has had. Not even just before this game, but after the last few games that the Clippers have been playing, Stephen A. Smith has been taking notice. And after they won that game against the Golden State Warriors, he was forced to come on TV and finally give Kawhi Leonard and the Clippers some damn respect. So what we want to do is want to play exactly what Stephen A. Smith had to say here to Marcus Morris Sr., and then want to come back and continue on the show. Take a listen to Stephen A. Smith on ESPN First Take today. Take a listen to that.
That damn Kawhi Leonard looks special right now. He's looking special right now.
It's time to put some respect on his name, baby.
I can't. Well. Let me tell you this. I'm never gonna go for anybody accusing me of disrespecting his name, because the brother can ball. My issue was his availability, not what he did when he was available. We all know what the brother can do. But having said that, to miss the first 34 games of the season, to come out and play since March, over the last 21 games. The Clippers are 18-3 with the number one offense in basketball when Kawhi Leonard is on the basketball court. And then the brother's averaging 25.7 on 52% shooting, 43% from three-point range, and just balling. I mean, I'm looking at him last night, making steals, going the length of the court, jumping. I'm like this. He dunked, he came down like, is he hurt? Is he hurt? Is he going to be all right? You know what I'm saying? I'm just looking at him, and I'm like, he running that back down on the court. He looked pretty damn good. And I'm looking at him, and I'm saying, ooh, this is going to get very interesting, because here's what it comes down to. With Kawhi Leonard healthy, Kawhi Leonard can carry the Los Angeles Clippers to the conference finals. He can do that. We can't dismiss. Listen, they can talk Zubac all they want to. He's about to. I appreciate what we've been seeing from him. It's about to come to an end. Now you going up against the Joker. You can wrap that up. All that stuff you've been doing numbers wise, it ain't gonna be nothing compared to. Ain't gonna be anything compared to his numbers, okay? But Kawhi and James Harden could deliver the goods in a series against Denver. And this Kawhi Leonard that I'm looking at right now, if that brother with this James Harden that I've been seeing, man, it's getting interesting. Clippers could go to the conference finals, if not the finals, with this brother. Kawhi looks special right now. I gotta give you credit.
Listen, 9-1 going into the playoffs, playing as good as Kawhi's playing, and the best thing about it is that him and James Harden tag teaming is a scary sight. Having two dynamic Hall of Fame guards going into the playoffs, playing as well as they are, is going to be something to watch. And, you know, go back to your point with Zubac and Jokic. Listen, Zubac has been playing really well. He will challenge Jokic defensively, and it will be a little toll on him. And it'd be interesting to see how tired and how much he can get Jokic to actually defend, right? And, listen, David Alderman going into his first playoff series against arguably one of the best coaches in the NBA. I don't know if Denver's ready for that, right? Because you have to speak on it. Like, I feel like Denver's in a position where it's twofold, right? If they lose, we fired our coach early before the playoffs started, right? So now you could put some of the blame on that. Jokic has been under this guy his entire career, 3 MVPs. You know, you brought up a lot of stats. He's number one in a bunch of different categories, right? Now you plug in a guy like David Adelman. How does he adjust on the fly? Like, how does he adjust?
Does it really matter?
Game to game? I think it does. I think it does, because now you have to actually prepare. How are you preparing for James Harden and Kawhi Leonard?
But only thing I'm saying is I don't think Denver has the personnel. I don't think it's about coaching. I don't think they have the personnel, the depth. What I'm talking about. Your start five is your start five if they're healthy enough to be there. That's different. But I don't think they have the depth on a personnel level to compete with the Los Angeles Clippers if Kawhi Leonard and James Harden's there. And let's not forget Norman Powell, because you talk about a brother that I love. I mean, I love that brother. I've always felt he was underrated. This brother, this year. And then let's also not forget the addition of Jeff Van Gundy, how their defense has been tight all year long. So we know the greatness of Ty Lue as a coach in terms of his in-game adjustments. Ty Lue is special, no question.
I'm not.
But when you add Jeff Van Gundy to the mix, you got 2 head coaches there. Jeff Van Gundy is a damn head coach in this league. We all know what he brings to the table. His basketball acumen is not to be challenged, okay? And it's not an accident that they were a top-rated defensive team. But then to have their offense flowing like this with Kawhi and James Harden and Powell. I mean, listen, I ain't going to go as far as Lethal Weapon 3. This ain't college at Georgia Tech with Kenny Anderson, Brian Oliver, and D3, Dennis Scott. But damn it, you remember those days. It was special.
So you heard what Stephen A. Smith had to say. He finally had to give Kawhi Leonard and the Clippers some credit. The only thing I didn't understand about Stephen A. Smith over the last few years with his criticism about Kawhi is that for the very reason he would criticize Kawhi Leonard, he wouldn't keep that same energy for other players. He would talk about you can't trust Kawhi Leonard because of his injury-prone behavior, because he's injury-prone. But then he'll be the same one that's always hyping up Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid is injury-prone. But that don't be stopping Stephen A. Smith from talking about what he believes Joel Embiid can do in the playoffs at any given moment in time. So I'm like, why is there this double standard? Joel Embiid is always injured, but it never stops you from talking about what you believe he can do. But when it comes to Kawhi, oh man, you can't trust him, and da-da-da. And I'm like, between these two guys, who's the one with a championship here? Is it Joel Embiid or Kawhi? I'm lost here. He would talk about Kawhi like he got something to prove, and Joel Embiid is already a made man. So I never used to understand that. But in terms of him giving credit to Kawhi, look, he has no choice. Okay, he has no choice, and I'm going to tell you why. Let me give you some of Kawhi's stats over the last month and a half. In the month of March, okay, Kawhi Leonard is averaging 25 points a game on 52% shooting, 40% shooting from the three, 82% shooting from the free throw line, averaging 7 rebounds a game, 3 assists, and 1.8 steals with a plus minus of 6.7. Let me tell you what his numbers are in April. Kawhi Leonard, get this, is scoring 26.7 points per game on 54% shooting from the field, 50% shooting from three, 86% shooting from the free throw line, getting you 6 rebounds, 3.7 assists, 2.2 steals with a plus minus. Listen to this. With a plus minus of 17.2 in the month of April. His team is 17.2 plus when he's on the floor. And when you look at these numbers, it's going to be very, very hard to criticize a guy like that, because let's just be honest. As he himself said, the number one reason he's been critical of Kawhi Leonard is because he's injury prone. You can't criticize his game because the numbers speak for themselves. Now, I do want to be fair to Stephen A. Smith, because Stephen A. Smith has been trepidatious in terms of heaping praise and rooting for the Clippers and all of that because of Kawhi Leonard's ability to get injured at any time. I think that's fair. I think all of us at any given moment are holding our breath when Kawhi Leonard goes up for a shot and we're hoping that he lands safely. All of us know that at any given moment in time, anything can happen. Anything. So from that standpoint, I do agree with him. And it's one of the reasons I didn't talk about Kawhi Leonard or the Clippers basically this entire season, because at any point in time, something can go wrong. However, given the fact that he's been playing off the charts, given the fact that he is healthy and he is not injured yet, and I hope he doesn't, knock on wood, you got to give him his props. We can't penalize him for something we think will happen. Instead, let's give him credit for what is happening. I think that's fair.